There are more stars in the universe than grains of sand on all the beaches on Earth. My favorite character from Shrek is Puss in Boots. I'm getting slammed with requests and I'm starting to lose my mind. I feel like I'm juggling too many balls right now. Sorry for the delayed reply. I was heads down on a project. The cat is twitching its ears. It is so adorable. It could very well be that issue, and I will have the team look into it immediately. Just wanted to check in and make sure everything is all set for my stay. Did you have a chance to get to it last week? Now that we're halfway through the week, how are we looking on the client presentation? How do you feel about going to the shopping mall today? Would you be up for going to the mall today? How are we feeling about the deployment status? I just try to keep him happy so he doesn't annoy me too much. I don't really care about the report. I'm doing it to keep him off my back. Don't obsess over minor mistakes. I don't know why, but I'm feeling a bit low today. We should have this wrapped up by next Monday or Tuesday. We're looking at finishing this by the beginning of next week. My mood has been somewhat dampened today. There are probably more grains of sand on that beach than I could count in a lifetime. The jar was filled with tiny grains of sand collected from different countries. A few grains of sand got into my shoes while I was walking along the shore. The wind carried grains of sand across the road. Every grain of sand seemed to sparkle in the sunlight. My favorite character from Shrek has always been Donkey. My little brother watches Shrek at least once a month. Shrek was one of my favorite animated movies growing up. The humor in Shrek still holds up surprisingly well. We ended up quoting lines from Shrek all evening. Puss in Boots completely steals every scene he's in. Puss in Boots is probably the most charming character in the franchise. My niece dressed up as Puss in Boots for Halloween. The Puss in Boots spinoff was much better than I expected. His expression reminded me of Puss in Boots doing the famous sad eyes look. I'm getting slammed with support requests this morning. The team is getting slammed with bug reports after the release. I've been getting slammed with meetings all week. Customer service is getting slammed because of the outage. We're getting slammed with last-minute changes from the client. I feel like I'm juggling too many balls at work right now. Between school, work, and family obligations, I'm juggling too many balls. She's juggling too many balls and starting to look exhausted. Sometimes it feels like we're all juggling too many balls at once. I've been juggling too many balls lately and need to simplify my schedule. Sorry for the delayed response. I was heads down on documentation work. I spent most of the day heads down on a difficult bug. She was heads down on a project and didn't see the messages. I've been heads down on planning for next quarter. He stayed heads down on the migration effort for most of the week. The rabbit twitched its ears when it heard a noise outside. My dog twitches his ears whenever someone says the word walk. The horse twitched its ears and looked toward the trees. The kitten kept twitching its ears while it slept. I love watching animals twitch their ears when they're curious. It could very well be a configuration issue. It could very well be related to the recent deployment. The missing update could very well be the cause of the problem. It could very well be that we're looking in the wrong place. That explanation could very well be correct. I just wanted to check in and see how things are going. Let me check in next week and see whether you need any help. Thanks for checking in. I appreciate it. I'll check in with the team before making any decisions. She checked in to make sure everyone had what they needed. I wanted to make sure everything is all set for tomorrow's meeting. Is everything all set for the launch? Please let me know if everything is all set on your side. Everything is all set for the event this weekend. It looks like everything is all set and ready to go. Did you get to it before the deadline? I haven't gotten to it yet, but it's next on my list. Sorry, I didn't get to it yesterday. Have you had a chance to get to it this week? I'll try to get to it this afternoon. How are we looking on the budget review? How are we looking on the release timeline? How are we looking on testing coverage? How are we looking on those action items from last week? How are we looking on the documentation updates? How do you feel about grabbing dinner after work? How do you feel about postponing the meeting until tomorrow? How do you feel about trying a different approach? How do you feel about moving forward with the proposal? How do you feel about taking a short break? Would you be up for going hiking this weekend? Would you be up for helping me move on Saturday? Would you be up for trying a new restaurant tonight? Would you be up for joining us for game night? Would you be up for meeting a bit earlier tomorrow? How are we feeling about the timeline at this point? How are we feeling about the proposed solution? How are we feeling about the results so far? How are we feeling about pushing the release back a week? How are we feeling about the overall direction of the project? I try to keep him happy by giving him clear expectations. She keeps her customers happy by responding quickly. We need to keep the client happy without overcommitting. He spends a lot of energy trying to keep everyone happy. I'm just trying to keep the dog happy until we get home. I only filled out the form to keep them off my back. He attended the meeting just to keep his manager off his back. I'm responding now to keep them off my back for a few days. She finished the paperwork to keep the auditors off her back. Sometimes I answer unnecessary emails just to keep people off my back. Don't obsess over every tiny detail. He tends to obsess over things he can't control. I try not to obsess over past mistakes. She's been obsessing over that comment for days. Don't obsess over getting everything perfect. I've been feeling a bit low since the weekend. She's feeling a bit low today and wants some quiet time. I don't know why, but I'm feeling a bit low this afternoon. He seemed a bit low after hearing the news. I've been feeling a bit low lately, but it'll pass. We should have this wrapped up by Friday afternoon. I expect to have this wrapped up by the end of the month. The investigation should be wrapped up sometime next week. We should have everything wrapped up before the holidays. They hope to have the migration wrapped up by Wednesday. We're looking at finishing this by the end of the week. We're looking at finishing this by early next month. The team is looking at finishing this before the next sprint. We're looking at finishing this sometime around mid-June. They're looking at finishing the project ahead of schedule. My enthusiasm has been somewhat dampened by the delays. The bad weather somewhat dampened our plans for the weekend. Her criticism somewhat dampened my excitement about the idea. The unexpected setback somewhat dampened team morale. The news somewhat dampened my mood, but I'm doing okay.